Hey guys, Stephen here. I am going to be a financial coach in the Chattanooga area, hopefully midway through the year of 2024. And I'm going to be using this channel to give you guys some free financial advice. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give you some pieces of my story, but I want to leave you with this basic message. It is possible. I've seen way too many Facebook posts, way too many TikTok videos, way too many articles. Say da 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 da. Boomers made it impossible for the young people to save money. It's impossible for Gen Z and millennials to save money on it. It's not true. How do I know that? I'm living proof of that. I am living proof that it is 100% possible to save money, to pay for things in cash, and to be financially successful as a young person in the United States of America. And just so you guys know that I didn't come from money and I'm not like receiving a bunch of handouts and whatnot, my dad was a youth pastor growing up. My mom didn't start working until I was in high school, and she was doing janitorial work so that they could pay off some debts. My first year of college was almost entirely, aside from a few small $1,000, covered by scholarships. That last little bit was covered by my parents. But the deal that I had with them is that they would only help me for my first 2 years so that they could help launch my brother the next couple of years. The second year of college, mostly covered by scholarships. And the last little bit that was not covered was covered by a couple whose summer camp I helped to staff. I was the head staff counselor for this summer camp a few years in a row, and they were not only very impressed with me, but very, very thankful for me that I helped them to be able to keep this camp going. And so they said, we're in an okay position right now, and we want to give back to you since you've helped us. And they covered that little bit of an expense. After that, those last 2 years, I paid for myself. I got a job. I got a student job from a professor that respected me and wanted to help build me into a strong worker at the school. He gave me a student position. I worked that up into a part-time job. And then when the guy I was working under quit the school, I stepped in and took his job. I made it all the way those last 2 years, paying my way out of my own pocket with my own money that I worked for. And then when I got out of college, when I finished my 4-year degree, I had that job at the school still. I was able to find an apartment. It was difficult to look for, but I did manage to find an apartment that only cost me $500, which was good for a salary of $24,000 a year. And in that time, I was able to save up $300 a month. 100 into emergency money, 150 into some planned expense money, which would be for a move, a car, a marriage, or something like that, all of which I ended up using that money for later on. And then $50 towards retirement money for later on down the road. I was able to save $300 on $24,000 living completely on my own. I didn't have car loans because I paid with my parents. I paid for my first car in cash for $2,000. Didn't go out and buy the nice car, bought a cheap junk car, and I ran that thing into the ground. Okay? So I didn't have car loans. I didn't have student loans because I worked those last 2 years of school. I worked my butt off, making money, choosing not to spend money. Didn't go out to any bars or anything. You know how expensive alcohol is? Didn't go out to any bars. And guess what? I was able to afford to save $300 every month on a $24,000 a year salary. It's possible. And not only that, but once I got married, I got a job change where I was making $37,000 a year. And my wife got a job where she was making, I believe it was $22,000 or $24,000 a year. Within the first 2 months of her working that, we were able to pay cash to replace my junk car. We paid $5,000 cash. And then a few years later, we paid another $5,000 cash to replace her junk car. And all the meanwhile, in all of that, we were able to pay for her master's degree in cash. What's the simple reason? We chose not to spend money on things we couldn't afford. That's how you save money. You don't go out and buy food out every single day of the week. When you're in a money crisis, you don't go out and say, I think that Zaxby's sounds good today. I love me some Zaxby's. If you can't afford it, don't do it. I want to go get a pizza. Go get an Aldi $3.50 pizza, split it into two, and that's 2 days worth of food. There's ways to save money. You can do it, but it requires you making difficult decisions. It requires making sacrifices in order to have that financial security. And I want you to have that financial security, which is why I will be giving you some free advice on this channel. And I will let you guys know when I am a full-fledged financial coach in the area. And I would be happy to help walk you guys through what to do with your money. I will be focusing my attention on high schoolers and newly married couples, and of course anywhere in between that. But I want you guys to have the start that me and my wife had. We have no student loans still. We have a small car loan that we're going to pay off within next year. And by the way, the average car loan in the United States for a used car is $515 a month. Ouch, that's more than what I originally paid for rent in my first apartment. Ours is $300. Don't buy what you can't afford, buy what you're able to afford. And if you have to take debts, or if you just end up taking debts, pay it early. You can save money. You can be in a good financial position. This is not a brag call. This is an inspirational hope story. It is possible. You can do it too. If you have any money questions and you're in the same stage of life that I'm in, and you're like, hey, I want to get there. What's some easy steps that I can do? Please drop them in the comments. I would be happy to answer some questions. For now, I need to take off. Thank y'all very much, and I'll see you around.